Hello, welcome back to Foodforest here in the far north of Scotland. And this pear tree we replanted about 3 years ago now. We cut it right back. It was very diseased, but we didn't want to get rid of it altogether, so we put it into the hedgerow and give it a chance. And now, as you can see, covered in flowers. It actually provided us with one flower last year and one pear, so it's certainly progressing. So things have moved on since we spoke to you last, as the new shoots of life were just appearing. You know, the weather's been quite warm, 12 or 13 degrees, and everything has come out. This early time of the year normally it's difficult for bees and so on to get the food that they need, and it's important to have things like willow, even though some people may frown on willow because it does grow very fast, but that's ideal as a protection for the rest of the forest for us. But willow also has those early flowers which allow the bees to have a bit of a feast. So willow's good for lots of different reasons. Fast growing we have on the outside, but we have various types of red and golden and white willow on the inside. Over there you can see one of the other food sources, the salmon berry. Pink flowers there is already well out. So we're in another part of the forest here. What is also interesting this time of year shows how warm the weather has got. We've actually got leaves now on our alders, and the older trees usually are much later than this to come out, but they're just sprouting leaves already. We've also grown some blackberries into the hedgerows. Again, they give us a good feed at certain times of the year, and also provide food for the bees. Just along here there's Siberian purslane that we grow all along the ground. Yeah, it's good to eat, and those little pink flowers provide plenty of food for the bees and various other insects as well. A lot of our hedges are lined with older trees, and they provide that extra nitrogen for the fruit that grows just inside them. Yeah, for example, these blackcurrants. Now, blackcurrants, as well as being a great food source for us, they grow really well up here, and from that point of view, I'm happy to let them grow wherever they want to grow. But they also provide good early nectar for the bees, and this in the next few weeks will be full of bees happily pollinating away for us. And the same goes for raspberries that we have over here. There's actually some further back in there, some red currants, and they tend to have a softer leaf. Perhaps I'll show you what I mean in another video. Some Rosa rugosa, it's a Japanese rose, which has a beautiful smell actually. It almost smells like an old English rose, but the Rosa rugosa is very hardy for North Scotland. It can cope with the conditions and has beautiful pink, white flowers, and again the bees love them, and we get rose hips later on, so multiple good reasons for having Rosa rugosa here. And here you can see the progress with the raspberries. This variety seems semi-wild. It seems to walk around the forest, as it were, and I'm quite happy for it to do that. We do sort of try and keep it in one area for a little while, but then it seems to just wander off on its own and does its own thing, and that's okay. Just behind it, you can see it there in the background once more, there are more alders. And just inside the alders, and just behind these blackcurrants, we have some hazel. I did notice a few flowers on them this year, so I'm hoping that we'll get some success. They get plenty of sunshine, a little overshadowed by the alders, but yeah, we feel more confident this year that something will actually happen. And again, plenty of activity in amongst the gooseberries. Lots of life going on there. So overall, plenty of life happening much earlier than normal. I say this is 8th of April, and some of these things are often not as far forward until end of April, beginning of May. I showed you the dogwood last time, and that continues to come out, and the elm tree. And you can see, I showed you the garlic mustard with the sweet Cicely, and that is already flowering there, the sweet Cicely. Yeah, quite happy to grow in amongst the trees, and we're quite happy to pick that. The garlic mustard can be a little bit bitter, but if you pick the early leaves before it flowers, the top, it's a little bit better, I think.